This is the winner, hands down, of this particular test. It is fantastically balanced. It's complex. It's also simple to recreate, and it's just a pleasure to drink. My name is Leandro Di-Benriva, and this is The Educated Barfly. Today we're going to be doing another anatomy of a cocktail. This is something that we've done before. We haven't done it in a long time, and I'm very excited to do it again. We're going to be tackling the Scofflaw cocktail in this video. For those of you that don't know, the Scofflaw cocktail was created in 1924. It was originally published in Harry McElhone's ABC of Mixing Drinks around 1930. It is one of those drinks that became very popular during the Renaissance of cocktails, and a lot of serious cocktail bars started putting it on their menu. It's also one of those cocktails that's highly problematic, a lot like the sidecar. So if you guys go through old cocktail books, and I've said this before quite a few times, but I'm going to reiterate it here because it's material to what we're doing, you'll notice that a lot of books will boast 500 recipes. And then in those books, there's about 50 recipes that are really good, and all the rest are page fillers. Or you'll notice that like a lot of cocktails are like exactly the same cocktail, but then, you know, just switching out a main spirit to change it. And there's just a lot of filler in those books. There's also a lot of problematic recipes, and the reason for that is just the change in tastes. People had different tastes in 1924 than they do now. So a lot of contemporary cocktail bars decided that what they would do is go through these old cocktail books, take these problematic classics, and modernize the recipes. And so now we have a plethora of different recipes for each cocktail. So in this video, I thought it would be very illustrative to take 3 different recipes for the same cocktail. We're going to do the original recipe, and then we're going to do 2 riffs. One of them is going to be the kind of accepted modern reconstruction of the drink, and then one of them is going to be a Death and Company reconstruction of the drink. We're going to taste them, and we're just going to talk through the pluses and minuses of each one, and we'll see how the reconstructions work. So I also want to mention before we begin that the inspiration for this video came from an article written by New York City bartender Brian Tash called Correcting the Scofflaw. He graciously allowed us to reprint it on our website, so the link is below. And then also all of you guys should go check out his blog, Corpse Revived, which has amazing deep dives in cocktails. If you like to get really nerdy about cocktails, it's definitely the blog for you. So we are going to be using Brian Tash's recipes as kind of a touchstone for the specs of these cocktails. The first one that we're going to be doing is the original specs, and we're going to have to use a different jigger because this one calls for 0.66 ounces. So 0.66 ounces is 2/3, and you don't find that a lot in contemporary cocktail recipes, but in old school cocktail books, you will often see 1/3 and 2/3 measures. The other thing that I got to say about it is that the whiskey that we're going to be using is Canadian Club. This is the whiskey that Brian Tash used, and I'm assuming that he used it because it's going to be the closest representation of a rye that somebody would have been drinking in the 1920s. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is 1 dash of orange bitters. Then we need to do our lemon juice, 0.66 or 2/3 of lemon juice, 2/3 of grenadine, and then we're going to do 1.25 ounces of dry vermouth. Back in the day, it would have been called French vermouth. 1.25 ounces of our Canadian Club rye whiskey out of a plastic bottle. You know what, Marius? I forgot to chill my coupe, which is a no-no. You should always chill your glassware. Don't do like I do. Do as I say, not as I do.
But now we can see how beautiful a honeycomb is on this glass.
You don't think that the cocktail will obscure it?
No, we can see it right now.
Oh, we can. Oh, yes, that is a really nice pattern. I really do like it. And you know what's nice is that it's actually textured. It's actually cut into the glass.
You don't know what's even nicer?
That you can order it by clicking the link below.
Yeah.
You're really wanting to push these glasses really hard. Can you guys please buy some of these glasses so that Marius is very happy? All right, and then we're going to shake it. It's like, oh, look how small this cocktail is. Eh, it's actually not that small. You know what really I don't like about it is that the little amount of lemon juice didn't really aerate because there's just not enough in there. All right, last thing we're going to do is a lemon twist here. So we're just going to give it the old twister like so. Cut it into a nice shape. What shall we do for this one, Marius?
I'm guessing parallelogram.
Is it that you don't like the parallelogram, or that we do it too much, or like what is it with the parallelogram in you?
uninspiring, isn't it?
It's uninspiring. What's more inspiring?
I know, all the fancy ones you see on Instagram.
You know, all of them, the first thing that you do is cut it into a parallelogram. I just broke my peel. I don't know. We'll do the garnish later, okay? We put the oil on top. We'll do the garnish for the thumbnail, okay? Maybe we'll do something a little more inspiring so that Marius is happy. All right, let's taste it. Whoa, okay. The most prominent thing in there is the dry vermouth, and it's so off balance. It is very tart and very vermouth forward. The rye gets lost, which is crazy because you would think that the rye would be a more robust flavor than dry vermouth, but it's really the botanicals of the vermouth and the lemon that come through. You get a little bit of that grenadine, that kind of savory sweetness on the back end, and you get that sort of dark fruit flavor of it or whatever, but for the most part, it's just a very kind of off balance cocktail. It's not terrible. It's not like, if this was put in front of me, I'd be like, it's a little off balance. It's not great, but I don't hate it. So there's the original Scofflaw. Shaker and Spoon is a subscription box service that brings craft cocktails to your door. They'll center each box that you'll get around a specific spirit, and they give you everything in the box that you'll need to create cocktails. So you don't have to buy any more specialty syrups, make any crazy ingredients at home. They give you the bitters, the aromatics, the syrups, the sodas, and much, much more. So what's great about it is that you get 3 different cocktail recipes from world-class bartenders in every single box, and you get enough ingredients to make 4 cocktails, totaling 12 cocktails. And what that means is that when you buy a bottle of spirits to be able to make the cocktails, it is portioned in such a way that you will have very little, if any, left. So you're not buying a bottle, using half of it, and then you just don't know what to do with the other half. Fantastic. So to get amazing and unique craft cocktails delivered straight to your door, just click the link below and type Barfly in at checkout, or go to shakerandspoon.com/barfly for $20 off your first order. For the next iteration of this cocktail, we're going to be doing the contemporary specs. Now, these are the specs that a lot of bars use. I'm pretty sure that when I did the Scofflaw on this channel back in the day, I used these particular specs. And you'll see that it's just a small reconstruction, raising and lowering different specs to sort of try and find the balance. Okay. And we get to use a regular jigger. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, and then 1/2 ounce of grenadine. 1 ounce of Dolan Dry. So full disclosure, I'm gonna be using Basil Hayden rye whiskey. It's the only 80 proof rye that I have on hand right now. I sent Marius to the store to get some Old Overholt or some Old Forester, and the Old Forester they picked up was bourbon. And it's my fault because I was at the store yesterday. I was picking up spirits for today's video and I got everything but the rye that I needed. So we're gonna be using Basil Hayden rye. You don't really have to be using Basil Hayden rye, but you can if you want. It's a little bit higher end rye, but if you use something like Old Overholt or Old Forester or something, it'll also work as well. Okay, so we're gonna be doing 1.5 ounces of the rye whiskey. Let's get these bad boys in the tin. Give it the old shaker. Already a much better result. I can already tell that this is gonna just be a much more pleasurable drink. Just the balance of the specs, I can just tell is just better. All right, here we go. Ready? Okay, so still tart, and it's still dry vermouth dominant, but you get a lot more of the rye whiskey in this, and you also get a lot of the grenadine flavor as well. The grenadine's still not really balancing out the lemon, but it tastes a lot like a daisy. So a daisy is a category of drink where the margarita comes from, and it's literally a sour that instead of using sugar to balance the lime, they're using either a liqueur or grenadine or something like that. And so the Scofflaw is basically a daisy, and you kind of get that daisy vibe, right? The grenadine is gonna be a little bit lower in sugar, a little less sharper than simple syrup is gonna be, and so it's gonna be a little more tart. It has a lot better of a balance than that original iteration of the cocktail, and it keeps the same soul, if you will. So the last one that we're doing is the Death & Company specs, and I chose this one specifically because it is just a slight variation from the contemporary specs that we just did. They also call out Templeton rye specifically, which we went to go get for this video. So 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of grenadine. Now this is what the Death & Company guys did, which I thought was it's kind of a stroke of genius. What they did is they took the dry vermouth, all right, and they did 1/2 ounce of the dry vermouth, right? Then they used blanc vermouth. which is going to be lighter. The dry vermouth was so prevalent in the flavor profile that I think this is gonna cut that prevalence, but you're still gonna get the botanicals that you want. I hope. So we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of Blanc vermouth as well, and then 1.5 ounces of Templeton rye. And literally the only difference between the Death and Company one and the contemporary one is just splitting the base of the vermouth. So you add in a little 1/2 ounce of a different type of vermouth, but you still have 1 ounce total. And then they're using Templeton rye, but still 1.5 ounces. Give it a nice shake. Look at that aeration, Marius. Ooh, much more voluminous for this glass, but that's okay. That is okay. Wow. The addition of that Blanc vermouth to this cocktail changed it so much. There's a strong vanilla note that I did not get in the other versions of this drink. The vermouth is still prevalent, and you still taste that dry vermouth, which is a testament to the strength of the botanicals in that dry vermouth. But the Blanc vermouth really mellows it out. And I'm not sure if it's the rye or if it's the combination of vermouths or if it's the vermouths in combination with that particular rye, but you get this vanilla, you get the tartness of it, but it's much more well balanced with the grenadine and the tartness from the lemon. This is the winner, hands down, of this particular test. It is fantastically balanced. It's complex, it's also simple to recreate, and it's just a pleasure to drink. Now we're gonna have to taste this to ascertain if it is this that is tasting of vanilla in this cocktail. Yeah. Blanc vermouth, you can taste the grapes. It is very sweet. It is a lot more like Cochi Americano is what I would liken it to. It is sweeter. You've got this really nice ripe green flavor, and yes, there is a vanilla note in it. I don't know if it's gonna be different, the Templeton to the Old Overholt, but now I want to do that test. Maybe we should do that test as a short, just to like, you know.
Yeah, or we can just, with the magic of editing, just taste it right now.
Yeah, it's much thinner on the palate, this one. The robustness of the rye really gives the other cocktail a lot of balance. The actual calling out the specific rye does make a difference in the flavor profile. That being said, this version of the cocktail is still much better balanced with the addition of the Blanc vermouth. And even if you switch the rye out, it definitely works. This is gonna be quick history because this video has been really long. Basically, the Scofflaw cocktail was created in 1924 by a bartender named Jock at Harry's American Bar in Paris. There was a Massachusetts prohibitionist named Delsevier King who wanted to coin a new term, like a new word, for someone who broke the law by consuming alcohol. So he set up a contest and offered up a $200 prize to anyone who won. The contest was won by a couple, Henry Irving Dale and Kate Butler, and they came up with the term Scofflaw. So we're actually really lucky that they won, because some of the other entrants, here's the terms that they did. Hooch sniper, the barnacle, and bottle Jaeger. This could have been the hooch sniper, which I actually kind of like that better. It's kind of a better term. Anyway, I've struggled my way through this history, but it is all written down below. So there was a Massachusetts prohibitionist. There was a Massachusetts prohibitionist named Delsevier King who wanted to come up with a term for someone who broke the law by consuming alcohol. So I gotta do that again because I fucked up the alcohol part. So contemporary cocktail bars decided that they were going to put their ring in the hat. So many contemporary cocktail bars have.
Bars.
Let's get into it. So first thing we're going to do is one dash.
Wait.
Hold on, I want to get rid of the orange bitters because I want to make sure that
You always start with lemon juice, citrus juice. There's no citrus in this thing?
I'm going to turn the jigger around. I don't know, we should do the old. No, it doesn't fit here. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Anders.
I'm sorry, Anders, it doesn't work. And you'll see that they're just a small reconstruction, you know, upping and downing. That was cut nice when you left. So.
Yes. Catch.
Please don't do that. No. It's bad luck to pass a knife.
Did you say green flavor?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that like a vegetable flavor?
You get this really, like,
eco-friendly flavor?
no, I guess the green flavor. Like I said, green flavor. I meant to expand on it. I meant to expand on it, but what I mean by that is like underripe fruit. Nobody cares. All right.
Let us know in the comments if you do.
God damn it.
I think people do.
I just want to end the video. Can I please end the video?
Sure. You're the one who's been talking most of the time, though. Just FYI.
I'm on the video. Of course, I've been talking most of the time.